Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Wayne Chappelle. I'm back to this thing again called YouTube with another video. Welcome back to the Wayne Chappelle channel. And today's topic that I'm going to be covering is a little bit of expounding on the last topic, which was multiple real estate licenses. Being licensed in multiple states. And I want to kind of expound on that. Now that I'm got my computer up here, I can actually look at some information and share that with you. But this is to expound on that, and it's this topic is more, or what I'm calling this topic is maintaining licenses in multiple states, right? So it's one thing, once you get these licenses, but then from there comes the real hard part, and the challenging part is maintaining those licenses, through the respective real estate commissions, where you have, post-license training, you have fees that are due, your CE, your continuing education that you got to do. And also, you may not think about this, but if you're a realtor, right? And, you're a realtor, you're pretty much a national realtor, right? Once you become a realtor, you get a national realtor ID. And, you're a realtor pretty much, considered a realtor no matter where you are. But the thing that most people don't know is, even though you're a realtor, for me, I was a realtor in Georgia, but I wasn't a realtor in South Carolina and North Carolina and South Carolina at the time. Currently, I am a realtor in all these states. But what I came to realize is that, I may be a realtor in Georgia, but if I want to do business in North Carolina and have access to their MLS, I need to be part of that North Carolina board, so to speak. I mean, there's ways to do it without doing that, but if you want to have full access to the MLS, have access to their contracts and things of that nature that realtors have access to, you need to join the board in the markets that you're working in. So just wanted to cover that real quick. Let's do a little housekeeping and, let you guys know about me if you haven't watched any of my other videos. I'm a licensed broker. I'm based out of Atlanta, Georgia. I'm licensed in 4 states, from North Carolina to Florida. And, up to this point in my career, like I've mentioned in previous videos, I'm at a point where I'm comfortable as far as real estate production and sales volume. I've sold over $250 million in real estate. I have over 1,000 transactions closed, and I'm transitioning myself into a space or a place where I was helping the average consumer, customers and clients, buy and sell real estate, where I'm shifting my focus to be able to focus internally more within the real estate industry and creating new clients, which are, you real estate agents, you brokers, realtors, and people who are thinking about getting into the real estate industry in a mission to solve the real estate dropout problem. We have a high turnover in this industry and a high failure rate. And I feel that there's a big opportunity and a big need to serve people in that capacity, in that regard. So that's my mission. That's what I'm doing. And, that's why I started this YouTube channel, is to put myself out there and use this as a conduit where I can reach more people, engage with more people, and have people, subscribe and put comments down below so that we can work on the difficult problems of the real estate industry today. So with that being said, let's just jump right into managing multiple licenses in multiple states. And again, I'm not licensed in all 50 states, and I'm not going to sit here and act like an expert in those. I'm having a hard enough time being the expert in the subject matter expert in the states that I am licensed in. So again, I'm licensed in 4 states, but I just want to go over those real quick for those interested in, possibly getting licensed in those states. So if you're licensed in Georgia and you want to get licensed in Florida, or if you want to get licensed in all 4 states, let me just go ahead and do that. So, you have the Georgia Real Estate Commission, which is where I started, right? So I've been licensed, in Georgia. Altogether, I've been licensed for over 13 years, but I started off in Georgia with the Georgia Real Estate Commission. And I am also a realtor, and I started off as a realtor in Georgia. So I am part of the local board in my community. So branching off from that, next I got licensed in South Carolina. So you have the South Carolina Real Estate Commission, which you can get access to them through the South Carolina Department of Labor Licensing and Regulation, which is their website, where I went to get my license and start that process. Being that I'm in Georgia, and this may not be the same for you if you're not in Georgia, you may not get, complete reciprocity. You may have to go through some other things, but, going to that website will help you. So, you can Google South Carolina Department of Labor Licensing and Regulation, and it will take you to their website. And then you can find out that information there. If you're having trouble doing that, feel free. I don't mind, grabbing that information. I've done it in the past, and I can provide that to you. The next one is North Carolina. So you have the North Carolina Real Estate Commission. Same thing. You can Google them, and everything is on their website on how you can become licensed in North Carolina. And again, in North Carolina, everybody's a broker. So you're either a provisional broker, you're a full broker, or what they call a BIC, a broker in charge. That's the broker that's in charge of, the brokers that are under them. They have the responsibility, especially of the provisional brokers, those brokers that are new. So once again, everybody in North Carolina is a broker. There are no salesperson license issued out of North Carolina. And the last one that I'm licensed in is Florida. And I went through the Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulation. That is the site. If you Google that, you can find out the information on becoming a Florida broker or salesperson if that's what you choose to do. So they do have both. They have a salesperson and they have a broker, or what they call a broker associate if you're going to be affiliated with a broker such as myself. So in Georgia, I am known as an associate broker, and in Florida, I am a broker associate. So they just, kind of switch those two words around. And it's not called reciprocity, at least what I went through in Florida. It's called licensed by mutual recognition. So, being that I was already licensed in Georgia, I applied for my license through mutual recognition as a non-Florida resident. So that's how I became a licensed broker in Florida. But, to say the least, that was, only the beginning hurdles of my challenge. The challenge that I have is maintaining these licenses, and that's what this video is about. So, I want you guys to be aware of this, when being a multi-state, salesperson or a multi-state broker is great. But you do have to be aware that there are additional responsibilities and things that you have to do and maintain to keep this license. So for me in Georgia, I have 36 hours of, CE, continuing education, that I have to do every time before I renew my license. In North Carolina, it's a little bit different because they require you to do your, continuing education, one being a 4-hour elective if you're a regular broker such as myself, and the other one being a general update. So you have 8 hours that you have to do every single year. And that's mandatory. There's no way around it. And in South Carolina, you do have a benefit where you can use a CE that you have obtained in other states. So for me in Georgia and North Carolina, I use that to basically get to a point or submit that information to the South Carolina Real Estate Commission, so I don't have to do all of this CE all over again in South Carolina. So South Carolina is easy in that respect. Now in Florida, I mentioned in a previous video that I got that license last. I got it, it's almost a year now. I got it end of 2019, end of 2018, early 2019. I don't remember exactly when, but I do know it's almost a year at this point that I've obtained it. And, being that I'm a broker, if you're a salesperson and you're doing mutual recognition, you still have 45 hours of required post-license training that you have to do once you become a salesperson. Now, for a broker, there's more additional training than that. I had 60 hours as a broker that I have to do for my mutual recognition to be able to keep my real estate license. And I have 2 years to do that. So, being that I'm almost at a year, I have a year left to get that done. And if I don't, then I'm going to have to surrender my broker's license, at least, down to a salesperson license. And if I don't have all my training in, I I stand at risk to lose my license altogether and have to, start from scratch. So that's definitely something that I don't want to do. But I do want to make everybody aware that looking to get licensed in multiple states, look at your state's, criteria and their requirements. Each state I mentioned is different. So they're all going to have different criteria. Some may be easier than others. Like for me, for North Carolina is probably, I'm sorry, for South Carolina is probably the easiest out of the four that I have. And North Carolina being the most challenging because every year I have to stay on top of that. If I don't, I run the risk of, lapsing my license and possibly losing it. So once I finish the 60 hours in Florida, I don't, remember off the top of my head what the continuing CE is for that respect after I get that done. But top of mind right now for me is getting that post training completed, which if you're a salesperson is 45, and if you're a broker, it's going to be 60 hours. So that's top of mind for me right now. So hopefully, that shed a little bit of light on the maintenance with licenses. And once again, don't forget about the respective MLSs that you're going to join, because that does get costly, right? If you're joining multiple MLSs to get access, number one, you're joining a board, right? So you're paying those yearly board dues, you're paying initiation fees, and then you have to maintain that every year. And then on top of that, you have initiation fees to join the MLSs, and also most of those charged by the quarter. So you're paying quarterly fees to those MLSs to have access to the properties and information that you need. If you're actively selling in these markets, whether it be, and that's another thing, just because you get licensed in Florida doesn't mean that you have access to all the MLSs. So I have access to several MLSs in Florida, Orlando being one of the biggest ones, but up in Jacksonville, they have a totally different MLS. And all of those cost money, and they all have different fees, quarterly fees, joining the board and such to get access to those. So keep that in mind. It does get quite expensive. So, make sure, you're making a business decision and justifying, having to spend substantial money to make that happen. That's why I always say I'm active in all these states, and I'm doing business in all of these states because I have to maintain these licenses. Otherwise, it would get expensive for me to have access to all these MLSs and not be producing. So, that's a big incentive for me to do. So just want you guys to be aware of that. If you're pursuing getting licensed in multiple states, not only do you have to get licensed, you have to maintain those licenses. And also, if you want access to information via the MLS, you're going to have to join boards. And you're also going to have to join MLSs and pay those respective fees. So keep that in mind. I hope this video brought value. I hope it, gave you guys some information. Like always, leave your comments and feedback down below. If you're trying to get licensed in one of the 4 states that I'm already licensed in, or if you have information about some other states that you need help gathering some information, feel free to drop those in the comments below. I'll be, more than happy to reach out to you and assist in that regard. So, like always, hope you guys like this video. I feel blessed that you watched this video to the end. And please like and subscribe. And I will see you guys on the next video. Have a blessed day and go out there and kill it. Thanks.